Right, okay, so just a little bit of an update to the dash now, and how you install the kit in your car now. So you're going to run a bit of software, a bit of coding and mining behind it. So it's the installation process is slightly different now. So any new users, obviously this is the video you want to use, and any existing users, this will give you a bit of insight into the update process, and I'll send you out a bit of a different one to that, so you can see how you'll get the information from me, because of course it won't be loaded onto your box like it is for new users at the moment. But what you will get is your Android box just here and your OBD receiver. So the hardware install is simply take this one, and then just down the side here, I'm sorry it's dark, but I'm sure you know where the OBD port is. Just get it plugged in down the bottom here, which I'll do right now, like that. Just see a couple of lights flashing down there, say that one's plugged in, which is great. This one here, I'll leave a link to this little contraption here. So what that does is it plugs in, takes some power from this, the cigarette lighter, so it means that you can still have two USB sockets to charge. But then when you pull this out, the cable that you use, which goes to the head unit here, you can then plug this box in, therefore meaning that it can be hidden out of the way. You've still got power to charge, and it all works quite nicely. So that one then just wants to plug in here, which I'll do now, like that. Quite difficult one-handed, but there it is. That's now plugged in. So I'll just put that one up there out of the way for a second, just so you can see how it works then. Just start the car now. That's the hardware install bit done. And then what will happen is you should see some lights on this box here, look. And then the screen fires up as normal. And then what should happen is you just need to make sure that on your screen, by the way, when you go into menu here and then setup, just make sure that this here says Apple CarPlay, because when it does say Apple CarPlay, it does then connect. This box needs Apple CarPlay to be the preferred service to work, and then you can just touch onto CarPlay, and then there we are, look, we're into this system here. So by the time you get the box, you will see it like this. When you plug in for the first time, this is what you'll see. It'll have RealDash on there already. That's the one you're going to use just there. The one beneath this is Auto Kit. I'll go into a different video about that in a second, and that's just how you're going to connect your phone to use Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that you get your Google Maps, because this that's on screen here now is the map that's built into the system. If you want to put a SIM card into the car, into the box here, sorry, you can do that, and that will enable you then to use that correctly. But what I would suggest is just use it from your phone. A, you've already got a data SIM in your phone, so then you haven't got to pay for another one, and B, when you've got it on your phone, it's everything that you use day to day already loaded straight in, isn't it? So it just seems to work a bit nicer. So to get this connected up, you're going to want to go to settings now, and connect to Bluetooth. Okay, and then down here is where it says BT mouse and OBD2, touch onto that one there. Okay, we're going to then pair a new device, and we're going to use Android V-Link that's here, and then the password for this is 1234, and then OK. So what that's now done is connected that box to that OBD receiver down the bottom there. Okay, so that's those two bits done. Now it's just setting it up within RealDash. So touch these to get rid of those faster if you wanted to. Here's the standard kit as it comes up. Okay, you're going to then want to go to garage. Okay, I will have already put in the information for the car, which just means that then it's got the correct gear ratios and bits and pieces like that, the correct tyre sizes that you can see here. But what you're going to need to do is just touch on to the dash cluster here, and then you're going to want to add a connection down to OBD2, there it is, next, and then Bluetooth, next, and then it'll come up on screen in a few seconds saying Android V-Link, there it is at the top, and then next. Now this is where it changes from previous users. So what we're going to do now, rather than using a generic file, we're going to use my code from behind it now. So the custom inputs like rear diff temp now work. So touch onto this one here, Okay, this won't be, I've just done it just to sort of check it before, but you want to go import now, and then on your kit you will find these bits of information. So you want to put in gr-xml file, touch that one, there it is, and now select file. Okay, you can now see that at the top up there. We've now going to use multi-PID request and request first reply only, and now go OBD monitor. That's got a couple of second countdown there, and then you want to go I understand. You'll see it says connected and connected to Android V-Link. We now want to do detect protocol. That will just run through, find all the information that it can read from the car now, and then in a couple of seconds, once it's done that, down the bottom right, it will give us the option and just say, do you want to use this protocol? And of course, when that comes up like it has there now, yes, I do want to use that protocol. Fab. Go done, and then we can come out of here by pressing the X at the top. That's now linked. What you should now see is that is now populated and has now linked to the car, but of course what you want is the proper dash kit that actually matches with the car. So now we go gallery, just in here, recent, load from file, again import, and then you want to use gr-v3 or whatever dash configuration we happen to be on at that moment in time. There it is, and now select file, and now everything loads in. There it is. So I've now got oil pressure, oil temperature, cooling temperature, air fuel ratio, throttle, radio data, etc, etc, and all three of the dash kits are here. Of course, I've only been running the car a couple of seconds here now, so obviously it's not up to temperature, but that is your install process done and sorted.